I have 20 books on my immediate TBR and I really need to get through them, so that is what we're going to be doing in today's video. There are definitely some books that are more on my radar at the minute than other books, and I just really want to get to those. I definitely want to mood read in this video because I have a feeling that I could very easily get into a slump if I read a book that I am not enjoying. So the books that I have specifically picked out, even though this may change, like I might completely change my mind on the books that I want to read in this video, but as of like right now, I really want to finish Wild Love. I'm so close to finishing it, and honestly I would love to get it done tonight because today is the 30th of September. Is it 30th? Yeah, it is. And tomorrow is August. Oh my god. Tomorrow is October 1st, and I don't know why I thought it was August. Anyway, tomorrow is October 1st, and I really want to add one more book to like the books that I read in September. So that would be just really satisfying to finish one on the last day of September. I think I have like less than 100 pages, maybe like 80-90 pages. And if you've read Elsie Silver, you really know that she writes in a way where you can just read it so quickly. At least that's what I found with every single one of her books. Like I've been able to fly through all of them, so I would really love to get this one finished tonight. And then a few others that are on my radar are Out on a Limb, and honestly, like, as you may know if you've watched my other videos, I don't really go into books knowing anything about, you know, the plot or just really anything about the book. I like to go in pretty blind, but I don't know why this book has just been coming up on like my feed, and I've heard people talking about it quite a lot, and then just like customers in work have really recommended this book to me as well. So I thought that I would pick it up, and I do think this is the month to read it because I don't know why, but I've been in a very romance mood. So I may read a few romances in this video. However, it is autumn and I really want to get into that autumn mood. I definitely am, but I feel like romance isn't usually what I go for in autumn, so it's a little bit weird that that is what I'm craving. However, I did read loads of fantasy last month, so maybe that is why I am just wanting something a little bit different. And then we've also got Anxious People by Frederick Backman, and I don't know if I said this in another video, but I heard Sarah Crowley raving about this book, and that is literally the only reason that I picked this one up. So this one is so intriguing to me. It seems like, I don't even know how to describe the humour. It's almost sarcastic by what I have read about this book. It's like serious things are happening to the characters, but they take it in a way where it's like humorous to them or just so unserious. That's kind of what I've got from the book, which doesn't sound really appealing to me, but I don't know, just the way I've heard this book being described, it sounds really interesting, and I want to know the main plot of this book. I know there's like a hostage kind of situation, and I think we go through kind of each of the characters and you get to know them, but again, I could be totally wrong. I just need to start this book and then I can update you with what is really going on. However, we are going to be starting with Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Even though I am pretty much finished with this book, I just want to get it done in this video. I am really loving this book so far. I feel like it's sitting on a 4-star maybe. This is the first book in the Rose Hill series, and if you haven't read any of her other books before, you should definitely read the Chestnut Springs series first before reading this one. It's not like spoilers or anything, but it is in the same world, and there are characters from the Chestnut Springs series that appear in this book, and I'm guessing in other books as well. It's a billionaire single dad series, and I just feel like that says it all. If that is up your street, I feel like you would love this series so much. I honestly cannot wait to just finish this one and get straight into the next one because I love Elsie Silver's writing and just the worlds that she creates. It's so easy to read, and I feel like everybody kind of falls in love with the characters, but I would say this is one of my favorite ones by her so far. I can't even think of like my ranking order of her other books, but I recently started reading Elsie Silver. Like I only really got into her books in July whenever I was on my honeymoon, and honestly, like I flew through every single book of hers. I haven't read her first series, but I've heard a lot of people saying that her writing has just gotten better and better. And I do see it in this book. Like, I feel like her writing style has just elevated that little bit more, and I really love the characters in this. There is a kid in this book, which I heard some people saying that they didn't love the kid, or just it is kind of thing that people don't love kids in books a lot of the time, but I really like the kid in this. I love the relationship that the kid has with our female main character, and yeah, I'm just loving the story so far, and I just want to see how it ends. And hopefully, as I was saying, I can finish that tonight, just so I can tick it off my Goodreads. I finished Wild Love last night, and I really like this book. I honestly just love the worlds that Elsie Silver creates, and it's just so cozy in a way. Like, it's just so familiar to me now, because obviously I read the Chestnut Spring series, and I just feel like her books are so easy to read. Like, I really honestly recommend these books to absolutely everybody. I feel like the spice in this one as well wasn't as spicy as the other books, so I mean, there is spice in it, but if that like puts you off, maybe give this one a go. It was spicy, like I'm not saying there's no spice in it, there definitely is, but I just felt like Chestnut Springs was maybe a little bit more spicier. I don't know, could be an unpopular opinion. I think I want to give this one a 4-star. Like, I really enjoyed it. I really like the characters. There was some cringy moments in this, I'm not gonna lie, but it is a romance. You've got to expect those cringy moments to happen, because it just wouldn't be a romance without them. I really like the kid in this, but I feel like maybe the reason it wasn't a 5-star is because of, I don't know what to say without spoiling it, but the kid quickly adapts to her new situation very easily, I find, and I just don't know if that's 100% realistic. But I don't know, maybe that would just be me if I was in that situation. I just feel like she really quickly adapts to her new life, because she pretty much is put into this, you know, situation, and it's just, I feel like it's a very awkward thing to happen to a kid her age. So the main story of this book is that we have Ford, our male main character, and he is a billionaire. He is mentioned in the Chestnut Springs series because he is Willa's brother, so we do actually see him in one of the books. But we have him, so Ford the billionaire, and then there is Rosie, who is working at this place, and I actually forget what she does. It's like an officey job, but she grew up with Ford, and her brother is best friends with Ford, and she's working at this place, and something happens and she needs to leave, basically, because I don't want to like give anything away, not that it is a spoiler, but I just feel like you should read it. But there is, I guess, kind of trigger warnings, so maybe check those just in case. And she ends up moving to Rose Hill. Well, she just kind of goes for the summer, I guess, to get out of this city that she's in, and she just wants like a break. So she goes, and then obviously meets Ford again. They are like childhood, I guess, frenemies. Like, they always said that they hated each other, but they never did, and they both knew that they never did, I guess, as well. Like, they definitely weren't enemies, but they weren't best friends. I think they were just flirting their whole lives, to be honest. So they are the two love interests in this book. And the other kind of story going on in this is that, so I think it's going to happen with all the books, I think it's all single dad books, but Ford does not realise he is a dad until this little girl Cora comes literally knocking on his door and tells him that he was the sperm donor for her. So he is technically, biologically her dad, and that is like how he becomes, I guess, a single dad. It was a bit of a weird storyline for me at the start, because I just thought like this just would not happen, but I honestly fell in love with Cora and I really like her character. But it goes on from there, and he is almost forced to be in this situation a little bit, because Cora's like real dad, he passed away and her mum is severely depressed because of it, so she has like nobody to look after her stably, so Ford takes on that role, and yeah, you just kind of watch the story progress from there. I really recommend this book to anybody that loves a bit of romance, and honestly, Elsie Silver in my eyes can do no wrong. Like, I really love her books and I'm very excited to read the next one. However, I am on a little bit of a book buying ban, as I always am, but I really, like, I can't go out and buy the next one right now. It would be too much. I have got so many books on my TBR. It's literally the whole point of this video, so I could not be adding any more books right now. The next book I'm gonna read is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark, and honestly, I'm not overly in the mood for this one, but it is a book club pick, and I messaged my friend earlier being like, convince me to read this, and she had some good points. She said it's very spooky, it's perfect for the season, and like, you are meant to hate the main character, but also it makes you just want to continue reading. Like, you almost can't look away, sort of thing. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I told her that I would read 50 pages tonight and see how I feel, so I am going to start this book. It's really not a long book at all, like, it's less than 300 pages, but I don't know why, I just have a feeling that I'm not going to love it. However, I have heard good things about it as well. I just don't know how I feel about hating the main character. I really don't know. I need to see how I feel whenever I start to read this, so I'm going to pick this one up tonight and I will let you know my feelings on it tomorrow. About 50 pages of Boy Parts last night, and to my surprise, I am loving this so far. Like, I really like the writing style. It's like very simple writing, but it makes you just want to continue reading. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so fast paced. Like, I think I read 50 pages within half an hour maybe, and that is like not, like, that's usually very quick for me. I feel like that might be slow for some people, but for me, that's very quick. And yeah, I'm just really invested in the story now, and I'm just really surprised because, as I was saying, I really didn't know if I would enjoy this book, or yeah, I was just feeling a bit weird about it. I don't know why, but I'm really excited to carry this on, and honestly, I just want to sit and binge it today. I am working, so I have about like 10 minutes now before work, but I might bring it with me and maybe continue to read some more whenever we're at work and whenever I get home later. This quality is awful, but I just finished Boy Parts and I'm like speechless. I feel sick. Like, I feel really anxious after reading that, and I think that was the author's intention. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm very sensitive to like a particular genre of books or of book, does that make sense? And I don't know, this one just made me feel so ill by the end of it, but like in a good way, I guess. It was definitely doing its job, and I really don't know, like I loved that book so much. I feel like I need to think on my thoughts first because it was just crazy. Like, it was a wild story, but it was done in a way where nothing was like too much in your face. It just kind of slowly built up, and then the last 80 pages were just like, what did I just read? Anyway, I will give you my final updates whenever I wrap up this vlog. I am currently listening to Anxious People by Frederick Backman. So I want to finish that one, which I think I will finish very, very quickly because it's only like 9 hours on audiobook and I think I'm maybe halfway through. I just forgot to update on when I started that because I really didn't think I would fly through it that quickly. Like I thought maybe I'd have like 10% of it done, but I'm flying through that one. I obviously have it on like 2 point something speed and I've just had time to listen to it quite a lot. But yeah, whenever the lighting's better and whenever I feel emotionally okay, I will give you proper updates. Video we had 20 books on my immediate physical TBR and we did read 3 of them in this video, so let's talk about those books. So the first book that I read was Wild Love by Elsie Silver and I was so excited to get back into this world because I just love Elsie Silver's writing so much. It is so fast paced and I just find all of her stories really entertaining and I just fly through them every single time. I wouldn't say I'm always like a romance person, but whenever it comes to Elsie Silver, like I know her books are never going to disappoint. The book follows Ford and Rosie in the new series, the Rose Hill series. The first one was Chestnut Springs one and honestly, that series has my heart. I loved it so much. I honestly think I'll reread it next summer and I think I would add this book to that little reread because there's something about these books, they're so fun and summery and yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4-star in total, which I'm not surprised at, to be honest. I really expect all of her books to be like a 4 or 5-star for me. So it's just really nice to step back into Elsie Silver's writing and I really recommend this book. I think this whole series is going to follow single dads and obviously with her other books, if you've read them, you'll know that each story is like connected to each other in a way, like it's a group of friends or a group of brothers, you know, that kind of thing. I do think in this one it's gonna follow the little bowling group that the guys have because in this Ford joins like a bowling group with his friend and what is the friend called? Actually, I'm pretty sure the second book is about the friend, but I think she really could go through all of the guys in the bowling group because they're all single dads and I know that's what this series is kind of focusing on. I really liked the romance in this and I thought it was very believable. However, there was some aspects of this book that I thought were quite unrealistic, especially with the child, but I'll not go into it too much. I do really think that you should read this book if you like these kind of romances and yeah, she did not disappoint. Then I went on to read Boy Parts by Eliza Clark and I read this one for a book club, which I actually didn't end up going to because I didn't finish it on time. However, I was really hesitant before picking this book up. I really don't know why. I just thought that it was going to be quite boring and maybe a little bit too literary for me. Like I can find very literary books quite boring and more just following one person in their mundane life and yeah, I just really thought that's what this book was going to be like. But oh my god, was I completely surprised? Yes, I absolutely flew through this book and honestly the writing is so good. There's really like well done bits of subtle foreshadowing in this book and I just thought that everything tied together so nicely. This character is literally messed up. Like I honestly don't want to say too much about it because I feel like that's all I really knew before going into this book. But it was giving like American Psycho, but with a hot girl as the main character. This was very, very easily a 5-star. Then I listened to Anxious People by Frederick Backman and honestly, this is one of the weirdest books I've ever read and I don't even know why. It was just, I haven't read a book quite like this before. We're kind of introduced to our main character, I guess. There is multiple characters, but the story revolves around this one character and this person goes into the bank to basically rob this bank and it all goes wrong and it ends up being a hostage situation and we're basically getting the perspectives of each hostage and how they kind of got to where they are. and you just get to meet them and you get to know the characters. There's also two policemen in the story and you get to know their relationship with each other, and they're kind of interviewing each hostage after this is all taken place. But what was so weird to me at the start was every single hostage was so unlikable. I just didn't care that they were being like trapped in this situation, like literally being held hostage. They were like, oh, like, oh, it's fine, like, I don't really care that I was held hostage, it wasn't real. Like, they just really didn't take it seriously at all. But you just get to know the characters and everything starts to make sense after a little while. But I really recommend this book. This is my first Frederick Backman, and I just think that his writing is so smart and there's so many little things in it that just all come together, and it was really well written. I gave this one a 4-star. It wasn't a 5-star because I was actually getting annoyed at some points. I was like, these characters are just annoying me and it isn't entertaining, but that was only for a little part of the book. And I still hadn't really got to know the characters at that point. That's the only reason I didn't give it a 5-star, but I still highly recommend. Also listen to this one, and I almost recommend listening to it more because there is a lot of characters in this book, and I honestly think that if I was reading it, I maybe would have gotten quite confused a lot, but I don't even know what the writing style is like. I suppose, oh yeah, it is kind of like a script, so you know, there's pages like that where it says the name, so maybe that would have made a bit more sense. But I really liked that there was different voices for each person. It just flew a lot nicer for me. That is all the books that I read in this video. I really think this was a successful reading vlog because I mean I found 2 4-stars and a 5-star read, which is just the most satisfying feeling in the world. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading vlog, hopefully very, very soon.